Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust, episode 758 of the series. As we donned our pumpkin. Donned? Who's Dawn? Let's place our pumpkin and leave it there, because the last episode, episode 757. Was recorded on Halloween. That's out of fashion. It's no longer the case. It is instead Friday, November 8th, 2019. Like I said, for episode 758. Let's organize. Oh, okay, gotta go. Oh, geez, that was loud. Oh, this guy's what a sneak. He's no fan. He missed Halloween. He's angry. He's angry. All right, later, nerd. Yeah, continuing on. Safely and without blowing up. Did I put my... Yeah, I did. In Minecraft Beta 173 here, as we are doing. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the series. Season 8. This is the third episode of Season 8. Apparently... These jerks didn't get the memo that Halloween was over. We got a creeper, we got a skeleton. What else? What else now? What else is amiss? Did this guy drop any residue? Just a skeleton. Oh, there's another one nearby. All right. Everybody calm down. This is most unkind and inappropriate. I want this button. Whoop. But yeah, like I was trying to say, Season 8 of Farlands or Busts. I don't... Well, here's the word. Here's the word on the streets, kids. I don't know why I said it like that. I worry that I brought it back, that I started Season 8 too soon. Like, obviously it's not 100% up and running. Because we don't have a charity fundraiser. And I'm still thinking about it. I'm trying to see what I can do to set it up, or what charity to choose even. But then also I brought it back to kind of drive viewership to the Mindcrack Marathon, and then I was away at the Mindcrack Marathon for 2 weeks, 2 weeks between episodes. And also there's just some weird internet YouTube stuff going on, I'm sure. But it's a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? A bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like when you start something and then it's like, oh, that's it? Like a little bit of a, it's not a letdown is not the right word. That's unkind sounding. But just that sort of thing. it's that sort of thing that I'm feeling, and I suppose maybe I should have waited for a fundraiser. Uh-oh, I gotta get Wolfie to spawn. Hey, Wolfie. Uh-oh. Wolfie? Where's Wolfie? Alright, I gotta get back to land. Wolfie is missing in action here. Didn't respawn. Well, this is gonna be a problem. Fine. Kinda like jet lag. Yeah, but for a season of Minecraft. Farlands or Bust. Where's that dang darg? There he is, you dang weenus. Why'd you have to freak everybody out like that? Hey, I'm talking here. Good lord. Why didn't you spawn over there? You're supposed to spawn over there when I place a block. Wasting everybody's time having to walk back here. Oh man, I don't have a contingency plan either. About like what would happen if Wolfie just didn't during one of these live recorded episodes. I'm recording this live on Twitch, by the way. But he's fine. Not even a single tick of damage. Just didn't decide to spawn. But yeah, it was. I'm having that feeling, but maybe I just need to get back into the swing of things. I'm trying to do these weekly. Fridays are good because it has a nice ring to it. Farlands or busts on Friday. Yeah, you spawned right there perfectly fine. Maybe I just gotta ramp back up into it. Perhaps. And I do think eventually when we do open up a fundraiser charity walkathon situation that maybe that'll help as well. But that might be a little bit of time. Maybe I'll launch it in the new year because it's already November. I know. It's already November. The daylights have no longer been saved. And we're marching towards the end of the year. Ooh, buddy. Speaking of time marching on, this Monday, November 11th, something that only happens a few dozen times every century, Mercury, the planet Mercury, is transiting the sun. Not as rare an event as Venus, which will never happen again for as long as any of us alive shall live. But we were treated to being able to see that earlier this decade. Perhaps. But Mercury will be transiting the sun this Monday. For me, here in the West Coast, in Seattle, it will be already, the transit will be in progress as the sun rises. But I'm going to try. I remember the last time Mercury transited, I was in Phoenix, and I didn't get advanced warning about it. my astronomical courier did not bring me the news and tidings of the day ahead of time. So I had solar filter material, but I didn't make a solar filter out of it. So I scrambled with what materials I had to make a solar filter for my telescope, and I actually set it up and was able to watch from Phoenix Mercury, the end of the Mercury transit across the sun. So I still have, miraculously, that solar filter that I'm going to try to use. Hopefully it's sunny on Monday. That is honestly a long shot here in the winter times of Washington. But yeah, it's going to be visible throughout Europe, throughout all of the United States. The East Coast is actually, you're going to be able to see it when it starts all the way through to when it finishes. But then the central U.S. and the west coast of the U.S. will only be able to pick it up as it ends. So when the sun rises, Mercury will already be over the sun. Oh, Juno. What the heck was that? What? She just... I think she, spooked herself or something. She just jumped up and banged right into my chair. You spooked me. Good lord. Got a bunch of dogs being a bunch of weenuses around here. Yeah. Juno, stay. Good lord. She tried to spawn up on my desk, I guess. It might also be that the banging on the walls, the neighbors are doing renovations. They've been doing renovations for many, many months. It seems. Probably weeks. But there's banging. There's constant banging and sawing and drilling. Children's show. Calm down. I'm talking about home repairs and renovations. Drywall stuff. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the Mercury. I'm going to try to see it. Mercury is unfortunately so tiny that it's not visible unless you have better than perfect vision. It's not visible if you just have solar eclipse glasses. You'd need magnification. Oh, I also do have, I just remembered, I purchased for the solar eclipse binoculars that are solar eclipse binoculars that have the filter built in. I could use those too, instead of, well, I mean, in addition to my telescope. So yeah, you're gonna need some sort of magnification if you live in a big city or have like a science center or a planetarium nearby or an astronomy club. Check them out. I'm sure they will probably try to have public events that just so you yourself don't have to worry about having the sort of equipment needed to view it. But yeah. Mercury transiting the sun. Neat. It's one of those things that's pretty neat to be able to visualize the 3 dimensions of the solar system. Kind of get a grasp on, you know, we see it all in diagrams and stuff. The planets on rings and like this is their orbit, but to actually be able to witness it firsthand. The coolest part is when the planet starts, it crosses the threshold or leaves the threshold of the sun. Like that's really a point where you're like, oh yeah, you can kind of see the dimensionality to it. Speaking of dimensionality, let's go to the sleep dimension and continue in the morning. And awakeness. And continuing on. There's a lot of snow and ice in this episode, which has me worried sometimes, because on more than one occasion, Wolfie's gotten spawned underneath the ice, which is no good. But being now super duper extra pooper scooper careful about such things as these. I think. And Wolfie. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Well, that's going on. I also want to thank my patrons for providing me with some questions while we're still working to figure out what sort of charity fundraiser, Farlands or Bust, walkathon thing to set up. I asked my patrons over on Patreon, I have a Patreon, by the way, to submit some questions. I have a few of those here. Some of them didn't include their usernames, so they're just anonymous, much like this one. What is something you like to do the old-fashioned way? The old-fashioned way. I mean, does, like, doing the dishes count? I do the dishes by hand in the sink. And I have a drying rack and a little plastic tub. I soak my dishes, get them nice and soggy. And I do them by hand. And I do feel like that is a product of my upbringing. We had a dishwasher, like not a person, but a dishwasher appliance, but we never used it because it was very, very loud and it was just a very old, mid-'80s type of old-fashioned dishwasher. So we always washed dishes by hand. And I guess that just stuck with me. Like for living alone, it's more economical, obviously. I do realize it uses more water, washing your dishes by hand uses more water, but using a dishwasher uses more electricity. So it's kind of you're trying to be environmental about things. There's positives and negatives. Look at all this ice and snow. It truly is November. The winter times are upon us. So, yeah, that's what I do. I suppose that is considered old-fashioned. And I use a washcloth. Not a sponge, a washcloth. I don't know what that means about me, or the positives and negatives of that, but I can never wrap my mind around washing dishes with the sponge. Don't make no sense. I'll sometimes use a dishwasher, like if I've like made something significant and have a bunch of pots and pans, or Otherwise, it takes me like a day and a half to fill up the dishwasher to reasonably actually turn it on. And then also by that point, I'm like running out of dishes and forks and things because they're all piling up in the dishwasher. So, yeah, that's what I do. That's old-fashioned. Speaking of making things, the sidebar. Um, any of you ever made granola? That's just a question to ask, isn't it? Just granola, because I have my oatmeal in the morning, and I put granola in it, which I realize is redundant since the primary ingredient in granola is oatmeal, or oats anyway. But I've always bought it. I've always just bought it. It's not cheap, particularly finding the brands that are specifically gluten-free. Yeah, I do. I need some sort of crunchiness. Otherwise, it's just cereal soup. Uh, so I usually buy it in packages. It's a bit expensive and also very unhealthy. Like the store-bought packaged granola, it's a lot of sugar, very sugary and calorie-y. Um, and it'd be nice to try to get away from that. But then again, I do realize that granola and granola clusters, they themselves, like an ingredient, is sugar or honey or syrup or, some sort of binding agent tends to be sugar. So I don't know that I'll completely be able to get away from sugar, but I was thinking of trying to make my own. It's one of those things that I'll probably end up deciding is not worth the extra like time cost and also gathering of materials cost. I don't know if y'all have any good recipes. The granola I do like has like a bunch of nuts in it, like almonds and whatnot. And I also end up throwing in cranberries, dried cranberries, into my oatmeal. But that's something I'd like to try. Because it's basically you just like mix a whole bunch of sticky, sugary stuff together, spread it out on a pan. I got parchment paper specifically for this use, and then you bake it, you get it crunchy and crispy, and then you got granola. So yeah, that's something I'd like to try. But again, it's probably going to be one of those things, like brewing my own iced tea, that I eventually was like, I'll just buy it in the bottle from the stores. This is just getting out of hand, and I can't get it right, and it doesn't taste the same. Probably because of a lack of sugar. Oats, cashews, cranberries, sunflower seeds. Ooh, that's an interesting addition. Pistachio with sugar and spices. Medium heat until the sugar is sticky. Pan? You mean in the oven? A tray? A boot tray? Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to try that. But what else do I like to do the old-fashioned way? I don't know. We just got done talking about shredding our documents the other day here on Twitch. And I'm starting to think that that's not even necessary anymore since all of our accounts and data have been breached and leaked and unsecurely spread throughout the internet. Pawned, if you will. Pawned. Equifax, Zappos, Facebooks, all those things. Luffy! No! He's fine. He's doing great. Oh, dang it. Alright, so avoid the tree line with leaves that Wolfie gets stuck in. Because he's a noodle. But what if someone goes through your trash? Right, and again, I think this is something I picked up from, like, my parents, my dad specifically. constantly shredding documents. I mean, a lot of it makes some sense, right? Like, you get a lot of credit card applications in the regular mail, and you just end up throwing that in the trash if somebody can find it and, like, submit it in your name, and then they have a credit card in your name. But yeah, as far as, like, receipts, I end up just amassing piles of documents, junk mail, and receipts that I'm like, I should shred this. And then it just piles and piles and piles because having to plug in the shredder and, like, go through the thing and flatten them out so that they go get fed into the shredder right without clogging it up. And bleh. I think it also, it's like it's one of those perhaps not completely logical habits. I'm pretty sure I saw some expose or Dateline NBC or something about, like, I do remember, like, they had a credit card application, they ripped it up into tiny pieces, and then taped it back together, filled it out with a different address, submitted it, and the credit card company, provided a credit card, started an account, even though they received the application all ripped up and taped together and to a different address. Because they don't care, they just want customers and money. So yeah, I don't know. It's again, it's one of those things where I'm like, do I need to be even worrying about this anymore? Yeah, I mean, I do and have shredded my old credit cards and gift cards and whatever other membership cards and things that are expired. Just burn it. Oh yeah, just burn it. That's better. That's better. That's better. That's better for the environment. Just mix it in with your granola. All right, let's go to sleep and continue in the morning. And sensitive granola, sensitive documents granola. Oh, man. I'm trying to think. There's got to be... Whoops. Oh, yeah, I'm trying to make a boat. There's got to be other things I do, like the old-fashioned way that I'm not particularly... think of off the top of my head. I mean, honestly, I do a lot of things... Like, I'm thinking of a lot of, like, computer things that I do the old way. If, like, there's some program or they've added some feature that is supposed to streamline something, but because I'm stubborn in my ways and I have a system set up, I do it the old way. I mean, I was using, and some people still do, nudge nudge, wink wink, cone dodger, use, like, old versions of Sony Vegas that were gotten via nefarious ways to make YouTube videos and things like that. Honestly, even, like, all this stuff that I have on OBS, they've made many new features that make it a little bit easier to, like, switch between scenes and have groups of scenes to make up new sources based on scenes, and I haven't streamlined any of that. It's all a whole list of things to switch between. So yeah, playing Minecraft Beta 173. It's the old-fashioned way. Woo! Farlander patron Weatherman asked, is there a hobby or activity... Oh, I gotta be careful of the trees. I just got done telling myself that. Is there a hobby or activity you would like to do, but don't have time for? Everything? Like, everything I want to do? Ever? I never feel like I have time for? Baking my own granola. Brewing my own iced tea. Working on and fixing up my cars. not even fixing up, but just like enjoying them more so than with the constant dread of needing to sell them or whatever. I wish I could do more hiking. But yeah, a lot of this stuff, I'm sure everybody has things they would like to do or rather be doing or would like to get into or start hobbies or side projects or whatever that just day-to-day normal life work stuff doesn't allow for. So yeah, certainly like getting out more, exercise in the form of hikes. I wish I like could train Juno better, like be a better dog trainer, like just above and beyond the normal like sit stay stuff, but like maybe do like the agility stuff or like actually like do like professional training and do more stuff to what's the word I'm looking for? To increase the quality of life and overall stimulation of the four-legged pet here, because clearly, just laying down under my desk, getting spooked, is far too much. Hobby or activity? I mean, I have, since I left college, I've always said it would be interesting to see if, like, to try an art again. Whether it be painting or drawing or anything from those, you know, music even. I was talking about for a while, like, I was looking at, like, music stuff. I could do this on stream. This could be profitable, or this could be part of my job, but it's just, like, the point of entry of, you know, both physical objects and monetary investment to whatever keyboards or mixers or synthesizers or whatever direction I would go with that. Writing, maybe. I was into writing. Like writing was like a high school thing for me. My dad, on a recent phone call with my dad, he's like, "Oh, I found a bunch of like a whole box of your high school poems. You want these? No, burn them. Put them through the shredder that you have, please. Absolutely delete those from existence. I beg of you." And I'm assuming that he did, because I've heard none the word more of it. Maybe writing. I don't know. It's because writing is one of those things because I don't read ever, like just for enjoyment or otherwise. It would feel like if I was like a musician who never listened to music. Uh, it, it feels a little bit uninformed and, you know, not that there's anything inherently wrong with that. It wouldn't feel, maybe, I don't know, maybe writing more would inspire me to read more. The world may never know. But yeah, stuff like that. I think there's a million things that I can think of, or you know, the 10 that I listed off right now, maybe. Um, yeah, that's a rough middle-aged person philosophical whatever the word I'm thinking of. You know, just like a quagmire. Boy, I sure wish I could enjoy life more, and even currently just spending time with the girlfriend, capital T, capital G, because we live so far apart from each other. We only see each other on the weekends, and it just is like, oh, well, I mean, it's worth it to drive 90 minutes to see each other, but that's every week, so we're like each losing like an hour and a half, depending on who's driving to whose place to spend time or whatever. Yeah, I mean, even like cooking, baking, you know, I started to have dumb, silly, stupid ideas about, like, I have this spare computer that I'm not using anymore. uh, Enceladus, since I've switched to solely using the new computer for streaming and videoing and whatever. What if I just set that up downstairs in my kitchen? I could stream from my kitchen. I could just set up a few cameras and do cooking streams. Ooh, this is a spawner. That seems like a pain in the butt to excavate. So we're just gonna let it be. Yeah. Taylor here in chat has a very prescient point. My favorite way to be creative is to have a bunch of ideas for a story or fill in your hobby of choice I'd like to tell, hyperfixate on it for a month, and then never do anything with it, and then be discouraged about it for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's a mood. That is a mood. So yeah, that's rough. And again, I even the other day was saying about like, man, I just need like a week off so that I can like catch up on all these things that theoretically are getting in the way of these other things I would rather do. Knowing full well that a week wouldn't do it, that I would waste away the majority of that week, you know, doing the things I normally do, like browsing the internet, watching YouTube videos, and this sort of stuff just doesn't. You can't get rid of the stuff. It's life. Like it's life. Not only finds a way, but it finds a way to get in the way. So it's definitely that you need to. It's not that you need to carve away at that stuff. It's that you need to carve out time to try the things and be okay with the fact that you won't be able to try a lot of things, and you don't need to try all these things right now. There is a lot more time, hopefully, in life that, you know, you don't have to do everything before 2020. Like, there's more time to... Maybe you pick up writing or painting again when you're in your 60s. I don't know. That's depressing sounding, but maybe that's when it has to happen. Shrug. I shrugged there. You couldn't see it, but I made a half-heartedly little shrug there. Well, that was Weatherman. That was, whew, getting deep. And I think unintentionally deep with that question, making us think. How dare you? How dare you put these horrible thoughts in our heads? Oop, broke that boat accidentally. All right, let's make an end of the episode, Heidi Hole here, shall we? Whoop, fell in. Are you gonna get up there, Wolfie? No. Well. Oh dear. Don't get stuck under there. Hey. 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 Oh my gosh. This dog. Oh, he's out. Ha! Got him. Boop. I know what I'm gonna keep trying to do. Walk into the far lands. And I hope you can follow along. That creeped me out. He was just peering around the corner like a creepy creep. Yeah, I'm talking about you. So yeah. Thank you very much for watching this episode or listening to this episode. For those of you who don't know, it's also available as a podcast. If the visual gameplay part isn't of interest, or perhaps the terrain jitter is too much for you, comes out in a very convenient MP3 format. You can find it on your iTunes, your Apple iTunes. That is Apple. Your Android plays, your whatever's. Link in the video description on YouTube. What am I trying to do here? Oh, make a few more boats. Bloop, 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 bloop. And farlandsorbus.com is where you might be able to learn more. You might be able to. No promises. You might be able to learn more about the series. And if you are a patron of mine, I'll repost that form in the Discord. If you have some questions to add, if you'd like to become a patron of mine, patreon.com/KurtJMac. I'm gearing up to send out some Christmas postcards. They may or may not be Christmas themed, but postcards to those supporting at, I think, the $5 or more level. So I appreciate the support there. Pant. Indeed. This has been episode 758 of Far Lands or Busts. My name is Kurt. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time. Well, here's the word. Here's the word on the streets, kids.